Welcome to Cablevision's Meet the Leaders. I'm Pat Halpin, sitting down today with New York State Assemblyman Al Graff. Assemblyman Graff, it's great to have you back on Meet the Leaders.
Nice for having me, Pat. I appreciate it.
Now, you represent the 5th Assembly District. What community is a part of that?
You have Oakdale, West Sayville, Bayport, Fire Island, Holbrook, Ronkonkoma, Bohemia, parts of Center Ridge, parts of Selden, parts of Farmingville.
Now, you must hear every day about the high cost from communities, residents, homeowners, businesses of electricity. And you've mounted a campaign to try to do something about that if you're successful, we could slash rates almost immediately.
Yeah, well, how this came about is I went to that meeting for LIPA, and they were talking about 15% of their budget, and they gave me a pie chart, and 62% of LIPA's budget is buying power.
So it's fuel costs.
Right. And I lived upstate for a while, and I knew that in Essex County, which is in the Adirondacks, that the electric is so cheap that people actually heat their houses with electric baseboard heat.
Nobody even thinks about that here because it would be thousands of dollars a month.
Right. So my question to LIPA was, what are they doing right and you're doing wrong? And they came up with the hydropower. So I started asking a lot of questions. It took me 2 weeks to finally get answers. And I mean, first they told me that the power doesn't come down here. And I said, stop lying to me. They get it in Rockville Center, they get it in Freeport, they get it in Greenport. And if you don't know this, that's on Long Island, right? Then they say, well, if you transport the power over long distances, it gets weaker. So my attitude was, what are you telling me? That the Long Island Railroad goes slower as it gets out east? I go, stop the nonsense. So what it really came down to is the LIPA Act, which created LIPA. There's actually a clause in the LIPA Act that prevents us from buying cheaper preferred power.
As a public utility, we are entitled to get access to that power.
We should be.
Under normal circumstances, if it weren't for that act.
Correct. So I found that clause in the act, and I actually put in a bill to repeal that clause that would give us access to that cheaper power. I can't tell you how important this is, because this affects our entire economy. If you look at the Suffolk County right now, according to Suffolk County, their monthly electric bill is $1,779,000. Town of Brookhaven, more than $451,000 a month. Islip is paying more than $300,000 a month. Sachem School District, they changed the number. The original number they gave me was $330,000 a month. Now they're telling me $240,000 a month. If we can cut that in half, think about that. It affects your school taxes. The #1 consumer of power on Long Island is the Long Island Railroad. Those that have to pay for that monthly ticket, or those that have to pay for the MTA tax, what kind of impact will this have on the MTA if we can slash these power costs? Now, the fight that I have on my hands is Senator Maziarz, who lives up in Buffalo, right? Basically, he's fighting me on this. So I'm taking my fight to the street, right? I put the bill in. Now I'm fighting. I have posters. I have business cards. I have a website where I'm asking people.
What's the website?
The website is Plug Long Island in the whole word .com, and on there's a petition. That petition goes right to the governor's office, and I'm asking the governor to put in a program bill. And you know, after Newsday reported on this 4 times, and the way that I'm looking at it is, they're saying this would affect Con Ed also. So if that's true, what you'll do is get my colleagues on the other side of the aisle in the Assembly should support this.
But let's talk about hydropower for a second. You're right. Upstate New York benefits from that. Many of those hydro facilities were built by Robert Moses through the New York State Power Authority.
Paid for by us.
Paid for by us, paid for by the ratepayers. And it produces cheap, plentiful, renewable energy. I mean, you don't get any more renewable than running water, going through these turbines. But there is a finite amount of power that's available. Are you suggesting that upstate should be unplugged from hydropower?
Absolutely not. Look, when you're looking at this, I'm following Maziar's press clippings.
Yeah.
Okay. One, he's telling me, oh, we're only generating 400 megawatts of power. Then the next press clipping is, oh, we're only generating 2,400 megawatts of power. Then the next press clipping, oh, we're only generating 2,700 Well, what is it? Okay, nobody knows. This isn't the same hydro plant that was first built. It's been upgraded.
Yes, they have been.
And let me ask you this.
And they're doing more upgrades now as we speak.
Right. You keep hearing about, well, we can buy cheaper power from Canada. Wait a minute. They have the same access that we have. The way this works is Niagara Falls, they put 50% of the water over the falls for the tourists. Then 25% goes to New York, and 25% goes to Canada, right? 10% of this power is also going to, I believe it's Ohio, that they're generating.
Why is it going out to Ohio?
That was a deal they made with the feds. Now it's going someplace else. But the thing is, nobody knows how much power this is generating, all right? And the bottom line is, how much are we wasting? We have to look at our whole electrical system. We have to look at New York State as a whole. You can't have one paying 1 cent and another one paying 9 cents.
Which is the gap between the cheap hydropower and what we're paying, plus all the other expenses that go on.
Well, let's make
to our bill.
Let's make this simple. My budget, $260 a month for electric.
Yep.
Okay, times that 0.62, which is the amount that LIPA is paying for energy at 9 cents per kilowatt. Divide that by 9, that's the 9 cents, times that by 8. That's the difference between what they're paying and I'm paying. That's $151 less out of a $260 bill. That's more than half.
That's more than half.
Okay? So, I mean, why are we prohibited from accessing this cheaper power?
Well, that was a political decision.
Well, that was 20
when
years ago.
LIPA was created.
Yeah.
I mean, the state legislature at the time wanted to get rid of the old LILCO and put a public power company in charge. But the upstaters were worried that we would then be a priority customer for the cheap hydro.
Well, that was 20 years ago, and I wasn't part of that deal. All right? And I don't think a lot of the people around here knew about that deal. So, look, we've got to start a conversation. We have to look at the power coming throughout New York, and we have to standardize it. The way we're doing it, it makes no sense.
So, do you think that, assuming you could set the politics aside, that there's a way of constructing this so that we're able, look, if we get a 30 or 40% reduction in our power, that's significant, given the extraordinarily high cost of power. And it would probably be the best economic development tool we could put into our arsenal.
Oh, I agree with you. Even if we reduced it a quarter percent. Understand, right now, I went to the Economic Development Council the other day, right? And they're talking about giving credits to companies coming in here. Right? Do you think the CEOs of these major companies are stupid? You're going to give me a credit, I'm going to put all of this money, invest all of this money, right, on your good graces that I'm going to be able to keep lower electric, right? We're putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. It makes no sense, right? What we need to do is bring the cost of power down for everyone and stop nickel and you can't turn around to new companies. We're going to let you pay lower electric. We're going to let you pay lower electric. And the businesses that are thinking about leaving, if you complain, we'll give you a coupon.
Right.
But otherwise,
which is we saw Arrow Electronics move their world headquarters from Melville to Colorado.
Right. Do you have any companies?
And I suspect that part of it has to do with the cost of power out there, and other expenses are less.
Absolutely. You know how many companies are out here that they're not coming here because of the cost of electric? How do you expect to grow our economy, all right, with the cost of power? The two biggest complaints are, one, property taxes, and two, the cost of power.
Okay, we have to take a short break, but before we go, what's that website address if people want to help you with this campaign?
It's www.pluglongislandin.com.
Okay, that'll be up on your screen throughout this show. We're going to take a short break, so keep it here. MTL will be right back.